Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Members, we don't normally take up resolutions dealing with national or international issues, but this particular resolution is something that I've thought about quite a bit over the last few weeks, and it's something that I think that we ought to take a stand as a body. In fact, I've talked to folks on both sides of the aisle, and I suspect there's going to be unanimous support for this resolution. But I know many of you have watched and seen the images that I have everywhere from television to online to hearing the reports of what's happening right now as we speak in Afghanistan. There are members of this body who served in Afghanistan. There are members in this body who have children who have served in Afghanistan. And the thing that kind of really made me think about this was, what is the image that we as Americans are going to show to the world? And I remember well when Ed Goodwin was talking about how, for example, veterans were treated after Vietnam and the circumstances of when Saigon fell. And I just am bothered at what I'm seeing happen right now. And unless I don't want this to come across as partisan at all, any criticism of the president. I think even former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton yesterday even made statements that we need to really take a second look at this hard date to withdraw and the inability for these folks to get out. We have a situation where American citizens, where soldiers for Afghanistan who fought alongside our servicemen and women are literally trying to get out of a country to save their lives. This probably impacted me just more personally. A few weeks ago, Representative Willis and I met with a gentleman who was an interpreter embedded with our troops in Afghanistan for a number of years, who now is in the U.S. And he basically told us a month ago, I'd say, that he was worried this is exactly what was going to happen if there was this sudden drawdown and this sudden pullout. That he knew firsthand of folks who had served with Americans, had served with our country to fight for freedom, who are now behind enemy lines, if you will, trying to get out. We've seen some of our allies really working to get folks out, but it really requires the United States to maintain that presence until everyone is out safely. And it's about a couple of things. It's about the compassion of just doing the right thing as people for folks that we know are going to more than likely be persecuted, executed when we leave. And we can't let that happen. But what does that say going forward when when we are to work with other nations and other situations in the future? This won't be the last time that we have to deal with a nation that harbored terrorists. It won't be the last time that we deal with a nation that wants to work against our interest. And folks who stand with the United States need to know that we'll have their back at all times. And what's happening right now is not showing that. We're the State House of Representatives of North Carolina. We're not in Washington. We're not international. This is a little outside our wheelhouse. But I think just as a conscientious person is something that we ought to each speak to, because it's the right thing to do. It's the right thing to stand up for these folks as Americans. And one more thing. Many of us know veterans who right now are saying, what was it all for? If this is the way it's going to go down at the end, what was it for? These families who've lost children, these families who've lost a mother or a dad, we're better than this as Americans. And this resolution is simply encouraging Congress and the President to take any additional action necessary to ensure that American citizens, our troops, and those who fought alongside of us that had been properly vetted are able to get out of harm's way and to find refuge in this country. America has been and will always be that shining city on a hill. We should never dim those lights. I encourage your support of this resolution today. Thank you.